Kiss FM. It was started up because of my love of music. I've been a DJ since I was 12 years old, way back in South London, and I was voted the youngest DJ in South London at the time by the local churches. That's how I started off, DJing in local churches for fundraisers. And music became my passion. And basically, I didn't really go to school that much, actually. I went and DJ'd in clubs, bars, and pubs, first of all, and weddings and bar mitzvahs and anything that would pay me £2 to play my records. That's where I was. From 85 to 86, Kiss was this passion. And then at 86, in the year of 1986, I realised that there's an actual business here, and there had been some rumblings in the government because I made sure I kept in touch with the authorities and knowing exactly what was going on legally, and I kept in touch with them. And there was some rumblings going on about maybe some licences coming up. So I set some rules for Kiss FM. There was 3 rules. Number 1 was I wanted everybody in the whole wide world, or especially England, to know about the name Kiss FM and know what it stood for. And I didn't care how people did it. I didn't care if people didn't like it. They had to know it. And that was rule number 1. They had to know what Kiss FM stood for and know the name. Number 2 was we had to prove to the radio authority that there was space on the wave band, on the FM wave band. And so I employed the best engineers that I could, and I got them to actually make sure that we never interfered with aircraft, we never interfered with anything. We kept very, very straight and very, very proper. And number 3 was that we could run a proper station. So we could run it, even though we wasn't allowed to at that time, that we could actually run a station that would be acceptable on air, and so we didn't upset the authorities by going on and swearing or doing anything that was bad. At the time, I just read a book, which was Richard Branson's book on type of doing very, very well. And he said that you need 2 main things. One is to have on one side a solicitor and the other side an accountant. And so the first thing I went out and done was I got a really good solicitor, a really good accountant, and I got the accountant from Centurion Press, our first investor, because we was going for this FM licence for London. And we got ourselves a very good lawyer, which came as part of the actual investment. And then I built around me a team of a really good program person, someone who'd done programming for a long time. And although we'd been a pirate, I actually went and looked outside and actually found people that had proper experience, but had a love for the station and a love for the actual the product that we was making, which was dance music. And on type of bringing those key people in, listened to them, I went out and I learned everything about radio, legal radio, because that legal radio is totally different to pirate radio. And I just spent a whole year just learning about every single nook and cranny, how everything works, how advertising sold, advertising agencies, and I just threw myself into the whole market. One by one, the other 3 partners all came to me and said, look, it's not doing really well. This was within the first 12 months. They said, it's not doing very, very well. We keep getting busted. We're not making any money, blah, blah, blah. So I bought it off of them. I bought the station off of them. I gave them each £1,000 and said, okay, I'll run it. Rather than totally own it myself, the next thing I'd done was I went to, there was 8 of the key DJs. Now you're talking about Trevor Nelson, Norman J, Joey J, Tim Westwood, oh goodness me, Dean Savon, DJ T, they were good foot soldiers. I picked 8 of the key people that were my DJs, and I said to them, give me £200 for 5% of the shares. Now £200 bought me a transmitter. That transmitter meant I could keep on for a weekend. And for that, they got 5% of the shares. Once they'd actually put £200 over the table and given me £200, boy, did they work hard for that station from then on. And that was the key to Kiss's success, because all of a sudden it wasn't just one person running it and being a junta, owned 60% of it, and 40% of it was owned by them. But I got the power of all the key people from the actual business. And from that, they just worked, and between us, we made Kiss FM what it was. It was quite an amazing year, 1989, because we weren't turned off air and we came on. Now, we knew it was going to turn off, and so what we done was we created this magazine called Touch Magazine, or back then it was called 94, which was the frequency at one point. And we made sure that we had a mailing list, and we had thousands and thousands of people on our mailing list, and we kept in touch with them via the mailing list and via the kind of the magazine. And the magazine was given out at all clubs and everywhere. It's a free magazine, which actually it turned into a magazine called Free. Turned into a magazine called Free Magazine because it was free. It's given away at all the clubs, and basically it's all about Kiss FM. It was written by all the Kiss FM DJs. It was about. It's just, but we never called it Kiss FM. We just, because it was better to actually build the brand subtly. We had quite a few great deals actually over the time. I mean, we done a great one with Levi's when they sponsored the Carnival stand at Notting Hill Carnival. And it was just in the time when Shaggy's Bombastic came out, Mr. Lover Lover and all that stuff. And they sponsored our Carnival thing. Now that's a perfect fit. But what we done with that was we went into them and we said, look, we should definitely be working together, because you're this, you know, here's your kind of core qualities, here's ours. We should be doing something together. We fit very well as type of two brands. And let's kind of, we've got a clean piece of paper, let's try and create something. Obviously in the back of our mind, we knew that we wanted Carnival done. So that was one of the great key things that came up as we was talking. And that's type of it, but it's really finding partnerships which kind of do work together. I mean, Kiss FM and Yo Sushi would never work. It's kind of, they're just two different kind of audiences, really. In 1990, we were working off of budgets which were done in 1988, you know, because by the time the 88 budgets were released in 89, we had got the license on them, and we was actually working off of those budgets in 1990. We came on in September. In January of 1991, the last recession hit. Believe me, we would have done a sponsorship deal with anybody in that time. we'd have done a sponsorship deal with anybody because we needed money. I mean, it was a very difficult time. I mean, we're just going into a recession now. I don't know if this is time sensitive, but we're just going into a recession now, and over the next year to a year and a half, things are going to get very, very bad. And so we kind of, at that point, you really do kind of your high stance and everything else all goes out the window because it's all about survival at that point. If you launch into a recession, then you really do know whether your business is going to work on a very hard time, and it can only get better. And Kiss FM, that's really what happened. We kind of relaunched into a recession, and from having these huge, great budgets, which it was going to take £1 million from local advertising, £1 million to taking a couple of 100,000, you then realise what it actually takes to make your company work. And I think that one of the things I learned more than anything else was about controlling costs. Because when we launched, we had the benefit of all these big backers and these big advertising campaigns and everything else. And when it came down to actually run the station, we realised that we could actually run that station or that company with less people. And we had to do that. I mean, we had 6 months into Kiss FM, we had a cull of people and everything else and the way in which we'd done things, because we had to if we wanted to survive.